My name is Will. I became Muslim 4 years ago this past January. The greatest thing that ever happened to me. And when I became Muslim, I decided to pick an Islamic name to be part of the Brotherhood. And I chose something that I felt was personal to me as I became Muslim. One was the word jihad. When I heard it in the news, I wanted to know what that was, and that made me angry in the beginning. I found out that struggle, personal struggle, to do what's right for God, for Allah. And that's the second part of my name. The first part is Shareef, which is honorable or noble, in hopes that one day my struggle for Allah will be honorable and noble enough to make it to Jannah, inshallah.
Hi, my name is Stephen Prasad. I became Muslim December 25th, 2003, and I changed my name to Jihad. Before I was Muslim, I used to live a real exciting life, I guess you could say, real wild life. I used to have a lot of fun. I used to do a lot of crazy things. And while I was living that type of lifestyle, I remember always lying in my bed at night, and even though I was doing everything I wanted to do, I had a motorcycle, I had everything that I planned out to, and I was living my life exactly how I wanted to live it, and I remember every night I used to just lie down and be like, there's got to be more to life than this, because I wasn't happy. Even though I had everything I wanted, I wasn't happy. Around this time also, I had a couple Muslim friends, and they used to explain certain things to me about Islam. One day I just remember just looking at everything and just thinking, and I realized that there had to be more to life than this, and just how there's a beginning, there's an end, and that while we're here we have to accomplish something. I am here for a specific reason, and that the way I was living my life was doing nothing but wasting time, meaning that by me just going to work, making money, buying material items, and just having fun was nothing more than just killing time. And there had to be a bigger or a greater reason why I was here other than just doing that. Once I came to that conclusion, I started doing some serious thinking. And prior to this, I took a class at Rutgers that pretty much showed me that certain things in Christianity was wrong. That Jesus never claimed to be the Son of God. And I was a Christian before I was Muslim. And some of the things that this class taught me was that Jesus never claimed to be the Son of God. And it point blank proved these things thoroughly. So I stopped having faith in Christianity, but I knew there had to be a purpose in my life. Being around Muslim friends, I started to get a little interested into Islam. I started going to the mosque on Fridays, even though I wasn't Muslim. And then one day, I decided to become Muslim. After becoming Muslim, I realized exactly why I'm here, what I have to accomplish, and what are the things that distract me from accomplishing these goals. I believe that I'm here for two purposes. Number one, to praise my Creator, to have a good relationship with my Creator, and number two, to have a good relationship with my fellow man. Islam explains in detail how I should live every single part of my life. It tells me how I should be working, or when I do work, it teaches me that I do it to please my Creator, not my boss. So even if I do not have a good relationship with my boss, it does not mean that my work should not be to my best abilities. Sometimes when you have a job, if you don't have a good relationship with your boss, you always try to leave early, or you don't really care. Islam tells you, no, you can't do that. Islam tells us how to treat neighbors, how you have to try and help them, how you have to offer them charity, how to help everybody. That every single chance you should try and help someone. And Islam is all about justice. So that even if nobody else is around and you do something wrong, you realize that God is watching. So you always, it has nothing to do with anybody else there. It has nothing to do with being caught. It has to do with ultimate justice. So this taught me a whole set of higher level of morals that I never knew existed. And once I started applying these morals to my life, everything changed. I started to see the world differently. I started to, a lot of my problems disappeared. I noticed people started treating me differently. you actually learn the concept of integrity, what it really means to be a man of integrity or being a woman of integrity. You know what it means to actually keep your word, to say your word and to keep it. You know what it means that you don't want to say anything behind someone's back to offend them. It teaches you all these concepts. And the bottom line is that God is watching you, and you will have to answer for the things you've done.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Name Dondre, 23 years old, from Miami, Florida. I'm in my 4th year here. I've been Muslim for 2 years.
Hi, my name's Lawrence. I've been Muslim for probably a few months now, and I'm very happy as a convert. It's probably the best thing that's happened to me my whole life. It's a really big change, and I guess I have, if anyone asks me anything about it, I always have a ton to say about it, because Islam is it's a very true religion, and every time that I'm learning about it or discussing it, I just find more and more truth within it. It's very deep, and it's something very dear and meaningful to me.
What sparked my interest in Islam? Well, after 9/11, you know, I used to be in the military, and I had a few friends that had passed away at 9/11, and obviously I was angry as an American. So I wanted to prove by writing a book that what was being said in the media is what Islam was about. And I started reading the Quran actually before I met any Muslims, and just came to find out that a lot of the stereotypes that were said and a lot of the things that were said in the media actually, in fact, were not true.
What sparked my interest in Islam? Say my junior year of high school, I was reading this book. It's the second book at that time that I had read fully from cover to cover. It was called Malcolm X Speaks. It was a compilation of 14 of his speeches, and I remember my Spanish class, my Spanish 2 class. This guy, one of the kids in the class, he came up to me and asked me, was I Muslim? Because, you know, they always used to see me reading a book, and I was bad because I was actually reading a book during class. So that goes to show you how much Spanish I know. But, you know, he came up and asked me, was I Muslim? And, you know, I told him no. He was like, why not? I was like, because I don't want to follow a religion that tells you to kill people. And he was like, I'm Muslim. I was like, nah, you joking, you playing. And, you know, like for like 10 minutes, me and him was having that conversation. Like, I was telling him, you're lying. He was like, nah, really, I am Muslim. And, you know, at that point, you know, he left me with something to think about. And, you know, I say, like, the coming days, more and more people started to ask me, was I Muslim, because they saw me reading this book.
A lot of people ask me why I became Muslim and what sparked my interest in Islam. It was two main things. One, I had a very close friend who was a very devout Christian, and he lived a very different lifestyle prior to becoming Muslim. And I know that a lot of times he would, you know, he tried really hard to be a good Christian, and it did some things for him, but when he became Muslim, it was like a night and day change. And I mean, he stopped doing a lot of things that he used to do. He started doing a lot of good things, and I guess it was maybe a couple years. I never really thought about it, but then I realized, you know, no one changes like that overnight, and he literally changed overnight, unless it was by some miracle of God. And so that was one main thing. And the other thing is, after he became Muslim, I realized I had a lot of Muslim friends, and all of them had the same characteristic. They were helpful, they were honest. I trusted all of them. And you didn't have to know them very long. They would just, you know, just immediately right off the bat, I was very comfortable being around them, and I trusted them like I had known them for a very long time. So I felt, you know, why is it that all Muslims that I know of are like that? It can't just be because of a coincidence. it's got to be something to do with actually being Muslim, the religion of Islam. So I started studying